Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. I hope you guys are doing well today. The last video that we released and the last editorial article that we published on our website, we covered a watch that was a Caravelle diver that had a really interesting jet plane as at the end of the seconds hand. And so, interestingly enough, about a week after we sort of filmed that video, Bell & Ross released the BR-0392 red radar that had jet planes that indicated the hours and minutes on the dial of their watch, which I thought was really cool. Fairly ironic. I had no idea about the release when we sourced the Caravelle for our store, and when we covered it on our YouTube channel and on our editorial section of our website. So what I thought we would do is I thought I would give you some information about this really interesting Bell & Ross. I'll put up some videos and pictures of this watch so you can see it. If you are looking for a video where it's sort of an in-depth look at the BR-0392 red radar, I don't have the watch with me, so this isn't the video for you, but I hope you stick around so you can hear my thoughts on this watch. So the Bell & Ross sort of square case shape is a very iconic case shape that was released in 2011 by the brand, and has become almost like a staple for the watches that they are producing. A lot of their watches, they've iterated off of this similar case shape, and so when you see a square watch on someone's wrist, most of the time you can sort of deduce that it is a Bell & Ross. There are some exceptions. When you see a rectangular case shape, maybe that's an MB&F HM1 or HM2, excuse me, but that's besides the point. So like I said, this case shape was released in 2011, and then this last week they released the BR-0392, nicknamed Red Radar. This is a 42mm watch, which is using this sort of iconic square shaped case. The case itself is black ceramic, and it comes on a rubber black strap, so it's really taking into it's really using the black and red motif that you see for a lot of their advertisements. One of the most noticeable things about this watch is when you look at the dial, it looks like a radar that you would see in the cockpit of a plane. There are some circles on the dial, which sort of mimics the radars that you see in the cockpits of planes. And then you see these flying jets that are kind of going around the inside of the dial. This watch actually uses a series of discs to track the seconds, the minutes, and the hours for this watch. It's really cool. The videos are probably going to depict it really nicely, but you essentially have this radar. The outermost disc has indications for 3, 6, 9, and 12. Then you have an inner disc that has indications for 15, 30, 45, and 60. So the outer disc is for the hours. The inner disc with 15, 30, 45, and 60 are for the minutes. And then you have this radar line that sort of runs around the entire dial, which is where your seconds will be tracked. Like I said, one of the most noticeable things is you see these two planes, one in the outside disc track and the other in the inner disc track that basically moves around. And those planes are used to tell the time. So as the seconds elapse, you'll see the radar arm moving around. Once a second elapses, you'll see the minutes hand change, and as the minutes pass, you'll see the hours hand change. This is a really cool way of telling time. Something that I really like about a lot of watch brands is when they play with how traditional time telling is done. I like MB&F because they do sort of iterate off of different ways of telling time. I think this is a fairly cool and more simplistic version of telling time. The water itself, like I said, comes on a rubber strap, has 100-meter water resistance. I guess if you're in a jet plane and you have to make a crash landing, or you have to land on water or something, or you decide to go diving, I guess there's that. But it's a really interesting watch. This movement that is actually used in this watch is based off of a Sellita movement. It's the SW300-1. That's the base of the movement. It is a modified movement, and there are quite a ton of modifications that have been made by Bell & Ross. So I wouldn't say this is your typical modification. I know a lot of the times people have a hard time spending a lot of money for a watch that that is a modified sort of mass-produced movement, but the discs that had to be added to this movement by Bell & Ross are fairly advanced, and it makes telling time quite interesting. The caliber that they produced here is known as the BR-0392, and is basically the addition. Bell & Ross had to add those discs onto the movement so that the radar hands would actually function and it would be able to tell time that way. There are only 999 pieces of this BR-0392 red radar that were produced. I don't know why they didn't go with 1,000, but it is a limited edition. Limited editions obviously are going to create a little bit of hype and sort of a nice little collector's part of this watch. If you are a Bell & Ross collector, you obviously like these types of aesthetics. I think Bell & Ross has, just to kind of go into my thoughts about this watch itself, I think if you like Bell & Ross, it's because you like the aesthetics of the watches, you like the square shapes, you like the way that they produce their dials. And I know that there is a section of watch collectors who really are not huge fans of Bell & Ross just because it's not really to their taste, which is fine. It's not to your taste, that's fine. But for those who are interested in this and do collect Bell & Ross watches, this is a pretty cool watch. This is a cool watch. It's not something that Bell & Ross has done previously. I like the fact that the hands are planes as opposed to, you know, your typical sorts of time-telling devices. So it's fairly interesting to see. I think the red motif really sticks out heavily. Red and black always go nicely together, and being a ceramic case, it's a really nice watch. 999 pieces. I'm sure that in 20 years there'll be Bell & Ross collectors who have faithfully collected the limited editions that they have created, and this is probably going to be one of those watches that will be in their collection. I hope that more brands take a note here and perhaps come out with watches that take a different approach to the way in which one could tell time. Bell & Ross obviously has a huge affinity with jet planes and the aviation industry and motifs, and so this makes sense in the grand scheme of things for the brand. There are other watch companies who have other relationships with different sports or different parts of culture, and perhaps they should try and lean on those and create watches that do tell time a little bit differently and do give a little bit more spice to their general lineup of watches, like this one does with jet planes. So I hope some brands take a note from Bell & Ross, even though a lot of them probably won't. So yeah, that's a little bit about this watch. I'll put a link in the description to our article where you can check out where we discuss this watch. I encourage you to check out some more videos. I hope you enjoyed the videos and pictures that we put up on this video. If you are new to Life on the Wrist, I run a website, lifeonthewrist.com, where we post three articles on our editorial section every week. Every one of those editorial articles has a corresponding YouTube video. So if you are seeing me on YouTube and you follow us here, you can check out our articles in the editorial section of our website, where we make corresponding articles for each of the videos. We're enthusiasts of watches. We love creating content about watches, and that's exactly what we are delivering. We do that through podcasts, through our articles, through YouTube channel, on our social medias. If you just search for lifeonthewrist.com, you'll find us there. So be sure to head over to our website. You'll see links to every single one of the things that I've discussed so far. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this BR-0392 red radar. It's an interesting watch. It's a unique watch. It's definitely a divisive watch, so love to hear your thoughts on that. Like I said, if you are new, be sure to hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends who might be interested in some watch content. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for us for our analytics, so we can get some more information about the analytics on our videos, that would really help us out. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.